Okay, look, I know why you clicked on the video. Your neighbors just painted the outside of their house, and now it looks really awesome. Maybe a bit too awesome. You can't let the Johnsons across the street show you up. And guess what? I won't let them do that to you. And how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna show you 3 exterior color combinations that you can use this year. All of these colors are by Benjamin Moore. We put out another video about some exterior color combinations by Sherwin-Williams, and a lot of you wanted some Benjamin Moore color combos too, so here I am delivering every time. Exterior colors function a bit differently than interior ones because you're mainly focusing on curb appeal. You're painting a large surface that's outside all the time. No floors to coordinate with, no old couches to incorporate. It's just your house and nature. And your neighbor's newly painted house across the street. Not that there's any level of competition going on or anything. It's obviously totally cool, but here we are. Before we get into these color combos, just a quick reminder that you're really only having to think of 3, maybe 4 colors max to pretty much do your entire house. You have your main color, which will cover the body of the house. This is most applicable to surfaces that are paintable like siding or stucco. But if you already have brick that you're not touching, then that's pretty much the main color that you're working with. So you only need 2 colors to think of. The secondary color is your trim color, which is there to outline certain parts of your home. In many cases, it'll be contrasting your main color in terms of depth. So if your main color is on the darker side, maybe your trim will be a decent amount lighter, or vice versa. And guess what? We got examples of both in this video, so I'm telling you, you're in for a treat. Your third color is the most fun color in my opinion. It's your accent color, which is a totally different color that is meant to draw your neighbor's attention so that they can envy how much cooler your house looks compared to theirs. Your accent color is usually used on your front door, sometimes your shutters, but that's pretty much it. You don't want to overdo it with accent colors. I also don't normally recommend continuing your accent color onto your garage doors, if you have them, because you just end up having big bright squares or rectangles that don't need to be that loud. I'll touch on garage doors throughout the video later on, so let's just get into some of these color combos right now. The first theme we're going with is a cooler combo. While daylight can enhance cooler undertones, this is sort of doubling down on that idea. Oxford Gray is the main body of this color combo, and as a color on its own, it's on the darker side of things, sort of an icy slate gray, but I still find it fairly passive and not too deep and dramatic compared to navy blues or charcoal grays. Even some of those darker taupe colors as well. The corresponding trim color in this case has a very familiar name. It's called Oxford White. Oxford White becomes a great choice outside because its LRV is somewhat in control for a white paint. It's not crazy reflective white, but it's also still bright enough to really cut some nice clean lines in your home to give it a solid impression. It doesn't quite have the same tendency as something like ultra white or distant gray, which can sometimes get a bit too blue outside. And also, the nice thing about Oxford White, Oxford Gray, guess what? Really easy names to remember. When your neighbor comes to knock in, they're like, whoa, some awesome colors used. What are they called? Oh, you know, just a pair of Oxfords. I don't know. But I know you're the bigger person in this situation. Compared to your neighbor, you're not petty, you're a gentleman or a gentlewoman. So your accent color has obviously got to be gentleman's gray. And much like your main body color, Oxford Gray, neither one is really all that gray at all, especially outside. These are cooler colors that can be classified as blue, although Gentleman's Gray is even further towards that with a really deep navy aesthetic. Because the accent color is really only an accent based on its level of depth, this is a case where I would actually consider also putting it on your garage doors. It's not like you're throwing sun-dried tomato red on your front door and then continuing it onto your garage. These are all blues working together, so it's more of a subtle approach to accents, so you're good. Our next color combo has an accent color that is perhaps a bit too bright for a garage. In fact, I know it is. So why don't we start our next color combo with the accent color, known as Buttered Yam AF230. This is a color that's part of the Affinity collection of paint colors, and it's sometimes tough to find colors that are this saturated that are also appropriate for exterior use. But in this case, what looks like a bright orange color at first is actually a little more rusty and possesses a touch of brown to tone the orange down a little bit. And I do mean a little bit, because this color is still vibrant outside, like really, really bright, specifically on a front door of an otherwise muted main body color. This is a color that I would maybe only want to see on the front door and not anywhere else, because that way the front door will really capture someone's attention and it's not gonna be muddled by the same color on shutters and everywhere else on the house. And as I say that, I remember some of the commenters saying, I don't want to capture anyone's attention. So to those people, I say, just stick to neutrals. Just go really safe and you might be a bit safer in that case. And then no one's gonna come knocking. Now with the front door specifically, you can paint the surrounding trim with the same accent color, which in this case would be buttered yam, or you can go with my trim recommendation for this color combo, AF55 Sonnet. Buttered yam and sonnet work together like poetry. See what I did there? The reason these colors work together so well is because they're both warmer leaning, where sonnet has a light beige aesthetic that appears actually quite bright outside without punching you in the face. It also possesses a slightly peachy touch, which further incorporates into buttered yam's orange aspect. There's definitely enough of a light reflectance value difference between the two where they will accentuate each other, which is kind of what you want with a main body color and a trim color. So if you wanted to use sonnet around the frame of your nice orange door, you absolutely could. But what about the main body of the house? Which color could possibly harmonize these two? Well, harmony, of course. AF90. This could perhaps be deemed as a deeper alternative to sonnet, although it's more heavy-handed with its tan element and helps bridge the gap between fiery orange in buttered yam and the light creamy grayish of sonnet. Another reason why I picked this color is because it helps represent a lot of the tan brick out there. For those of you that have it and don't want to paint it, this color combo can still apply to you. The same goes for houses that were newly coated in stucco. Oftentimes you'll find stucco having tan or beige-like coloration in a lot of cases. So again, totally applicable in this case. For the final color combination I want to talk about, I want to start with the darker version of Gentleman's Gray, which we already talked about. And that's Polo Blue 2062-10. So what we have here is a darker navy blue that almost has a blue chalkboard level of depth. Could this be the accent color of this color combination? Maybe the main color for something a little more dramatic? No, no, no. This is actually the trim color in this case. I know not all of you want to throw off-white on your trim, so I wanted to present another option that is quite literally on the opposite end of the spectrum. I love this hue of blue because it's deep and dark, but not overly vibrant, so it won't pull too much focus, especially when you pair it with another darker color on the main body of the house, in this case, HC72 Branchport Brown. I love this color outside because it is a little closer to taupe than some other more chocolatey browns, yet it also has the same sort of coloration as dusty, decadent, dark chocolate. Because it's not overly warm, it really plays into what's happening with the dark blue trim color. So their interaction is a bit back and forth, but they're not directly competing with one another like a really light or a really dark color would do. Now, what about the accent color in this case? Well, nothing would be more of an accent than an off-white color, but I tend to stay away from really light colors for front doors, mainly because of the maintenance and the cleanliness standpoint. Your front door is going to be the most handled part of your home, on the outside at least, so keeping a Chantilly lace front door clean and sparkling sounds like a bit of a nightmare to me. Not gonna lie. The color I chose in this case for the front door, or the accent color, is a darker green tone called Lush, AF475. Lush is going to be the lightest color of the three, and has an LRV right around 19, just under 20, which is on the darker side of things, but will lighten up when used outside. It's described on the Benjamin Moore website as a color with blue undertones that creates a deep, enduring green that is wonderfully warm and intense. The three colors in this combo come together to emulate three of the most common hues you see in nature: green, blue, and brown. But none of them are overly bright and fake looking. They all have a grounded, earthy feel to them and create a bold, but still under control look that I really like. Check out some more color combos here over in Sherwin-Williams land, and like the video on your way out for good karma. Bye-bye.